What's good, YouTube? Dmgaming here, guys. We have to talk about DLC 5. This DLC, guys, and I've done a video on this before, but today I'm going to go into a lot deeper detail. I've seen other Dragon Ball content creators already talking about DLC 5, sorry. And, I meant to do this video sometime last week. However, I didn't, and I'm glad I waited because some other things have come to my mind that's going to be presented in this video. All right. DLC 5, as I said before in my previous video that you're seeing here on my Twitter, this DLC has the potential, listen to that key word, man, potential, has the potential to be game changing. Literal game changing. The reason I say potential is because there's some things that Bandai Namco can do with this DLC that CyberConnect 2 can do with this DLC that can actually make it not as good as it could be. Now, I'm going to cover all that in this video, so it may be a long one. So please tune in. Watch the full video. If you got to watch half of it now and half of it later, I really don't care. Watch it in its entirety. You got till the next upload. You have all the time in the world, all right, until your time is over in this world. You get what I'm saying? So please pay attention. Take notes. Here we go. We know we're looking at the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, okay? And I know y'all have seen people like Rose and Riken and other Kakarot creators talk about what the season holds and things like that. I've watched their videos too. Neither one of them went into enough detail for me. Y'all know me, I'm a detailed individual. I'm going to give it to you straight and I'm going to give it to you in depth. So with that being said, the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, it is my speculation that this DLC is going to exceed more than just the tournament itself. Okay? Every story DLC has done just that. It told a story. Now, if you're jumping into this from just the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, you're missing a lot. You're missing a lot. Also, there is, at the end of the Bardock DLC, we see Goku, Kid Goku on planet Earth, and Grandpa Gohan finding him. All right. That is significant. Because now people are going to wonder, not us, but remember, y'all know on the channel how it is. This game was made for people who have never played a Dragon Ball Z game, who are new to Dragon Ball Z through Dragon Ball Super. That is from Bandai and CyberConnect 2 themselves. That is from the publisher of the game themselves. That is who this game was intentionally made for. So we have to look at everything through the spectrum of that. All right. With that being said, in the Bardock DLC led to us seeing Goku on planet Earth with Grandpa Gohan. So much so, guys, that we even got a soul emblem for Grandpa Gohan. All right. People are going to wonder, will we get to play OG Dragon Ball? And if that's the case, why would they skip all the way to the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament instead of giving us the OG Dragon Ball? Guys, I strongly believe we will get to play as Kid Goku to some capacity. All right, let's take a look, all right, at some things. First and foremost, the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament doesn't kick off. It's in Season 9 of Dragon Ball, and it doesn't kick off until episode 11 of 31. All right, so let's just look at it from this standpoint. First of all, as the tournament itself, all right, Goku shows up and everybody notices that he's changed. Oh my gosh, you look so different. If we're starting from that standpoint, guys, to the people who have played the game, we have not played with Kid Goku. We only saw him at the end of the Bardock DLC. So by them talking about how much Goku has changed, that to me, it makes it impossible for this to be the beginning of the DLC. They're using this image because it is one of the most recognizable images for Dragon Ball fans. And I mean Dragon Ball in its entirety, because the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament was one of the most significant tournaments in all of Dragon Ball. It is the first tournament that Goku won. And he also beat Piccolo in this tournament. All right? That's the significance of it. It's historical, you got me? So, it starts off with that, all right? Then it goes into the prelims, the preliminaries, where Goku fights Chi-Chi, the infamous scene, the infamous fight between Goku and Chi-Chi, where Goku doesn't remember Chi-Chi, and Chi-Chi was like, bro, you promised to marry me. They end up getting married after the tournament. I'm going to get into that a little bit later as well, all right? Now, the Battle of 8, you know, the final 8 people, Yamcha, Krillin, Goku, Tien, all fight their way into the semifinals. Master Roshi is not even in this tournament. You have Kami, who's fighting as Mr. Hero. And this is significant as well. Why? Guys, it's a good chance that Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien all become playable characters. Why? I feel that way because they have preliminary fights. They also have some stuff before the training that's significant, before the tournament that's significant with them training. And then also, guys, it is going to be an extremely short DLC if all we do is play as Goku in this tournament. Matter of fact, if all we're doing is the tournament and we're playing as Goku in the tournament, guys, this should be a boss battle episode. Because Goku, I mean, he had his preliminary fight. 1 or 2 battles in the prelims. But then in the semifinals, you know, he blows through it. Piece of cake. He fights Chi-Chi. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a very tough fight. You see what I'm saying? And then he fights Tien, which is a more significant fight. And then he finishes with Piccolo. So you can see that that's more of a boss battle episode. Also, the story has it to where you can go to different places, do different things and stuff like that. Now, we know the tournament wasn't all in one day. So, yes, they're going to give us some backdrop. They're going to give us some sub-quests that are going to build upon the story and tell the story more. But just by hearing that alone, guys, tell me how that makes sense that this DLC is going to start when Goku walks up to the World Tournament Arena. It doesn't make sense. So, there's 31 episodes in Season 9, all right? Every story DLC is basically an arc. It's a story arc. And if you look at the arcs, you have the Saiyan arc, you have the Namek arc, you have the Cell arc, the Android Cell arc, you have the Boo arc. You know what I'm saying? So, with enough episodes and fights, I think the History of Trunks DLC had over 20-something fights. The Bardock one was the shortest one with about 9. All the other arcs in the game have had about 20-something main story missions. So this one could very well be lengthy, which I explained in the last video why I felt like the Bardock DLC was as short as it was, because they had to also prep for the next gen update for the game. All right, but let's look at the previous, what goes on before the tournament, all right? And to do that, we're going to start with the first episode, all right? Lost and Found. Goku hopes to reach Kami, the creator of the Dragon Ball. So this is after King Piccolo. This is after the King Piccolo stuff. He's spit out his egg, which we know turns into Piccolo. You can see his little kid Piccolo right here. But Goku is faced with a dilemma, all right? He needs to find the Dragon Balls, but he can't find the Dragon Balls because right now the Dragon Balls have been deactivated by Kami. He's still alive because Piccolo is still alive, all right? But Goku is now hearing about the lookout for not the first time, but he's talking to Korin and Yajirobe about going to the lookout, all right? But he can't reach the lookout because he can't fly because he's still Kid Goku. He also can't reach the lookout, you say, with the Nimbus Cloud. It's said in the anime that the Nimbus Cloud cannot reach the lookout. And it makes sense, too, because whenever you see Goku jumping off of Kami's tower, he calls on Flying Nimbus before he ever hits the ground. You see what I'm saying? So he has to go and find his power pole because the power pole is the only thing that makes it able for him to reach the lookout. All right? So that right there is going to be a mission in and of itself, I believe. And I'm just telling you the depth of this, how this can be a very great DLC. And then I'm going to tell you how I feel that they can make this a bad DLC. Okay, you're going to like the Dmgaming way. So already first sub quest or first main quest. Fine. The epilogue is Goku's, growing up as a kid Goku. You know what I'm saying? Fighting King Piccolo. We're not going to get to fight him in this DLC. But I believe they will give us some sort of backstory into that. All right. Now, first mission, play as Kid Goku. They gonna know we're gonna want to do this with it being a Dragon Ball based DLC. Find the power pole. Okay, Goku actually does that. All right, Temple Above the Clouds. That's gonna encourage. Gonna group a lot of this together. Episode 1 and 2 is basically that. Goku makes it to the Temple Above the Clouds in episode 2. That's gonna be combined. You find the power pole. Get to Kami's lookout. This is, and guys, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I feel like the lookout is going to be, let me get that out of there. The lookout is going to be the central location for this game, for this DLC. All right. Everybody thinks it's going to be the World Tournament Arena. I don't think so. I think the main location where everything centrally takes place is going to be Kami's lookout. And I'm going to explain that throughout this process. All right. So episode 2, he finds the lookout. Okay. Episode 3, he meets Mr. Popo, and giving you a little backdrop on this. Popo is like, bro, you ain't ready. You ain't ready to meet Kami. You know what I'm saying? You ain't on that level yet. But Goku has that appeal to everyone. You know what I'm saying? And Popo takes a liking to Goku. Kami's watching the whole time. He takes a liking to him, and he's like, hey, Popo, it's straight, dog. He cool people. Goku gets to meet Kami. But Goku is so excited with the stuff that Popo is kind of putting in his head before time that Goku like, hey, I want to stay and train, dude. Popo, you pretty strong, and this is in episode 3. Goku finds Popo is stronger than expected, but he refuses to give up. Goku's courage impresses Kami, who then reveals himself. All of that happens. And then Kami is so impressed with Goku that he revives the Dragon Balls. All right. It is at this time, in this part, when the dragon is resurrected, that they go back to Tien Shinhan, Yamcha, Krillin them on Master Roshi's island, where they revive the dragons. They have the Dragon Balls already, that they bring the dragon up and they make a wish. This is why I feel like those guys are going to become playable characters in this DLC. Because not only do they have fights in the tournament, but they do some significant things before the tournament. All right. As well as train. Yes, they train as well. Why? Because all of these preceding episodes, guess what the essence of it is? They're all preparing for the World Martial Arts Tournament. They're all preparing for the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. So to me, it makes no sense to start here when you have so much key information and major things going on beforehand that leads up to the tournament and things that happen in this tournament. First of all, they're surprised at Goku's stature. They're surprised at how much stronger and faster he's gotten. So why they skip over all the stuff that led to that and jump straight to that without explaining that? Those are key lines in the anime. You get what I'm saying? So episode 4, they find the Dragon Balls. That's going to be Tien, Yamcha, Chaozu, Krillin, Bulma, Master Roshi. Goku isn't even involved in that because he's on the lookout. That's why I feel like they're going to be playable, plus because of the fights that they have. Now, go back to it. Goku is back on the lookout, and the next couple of episodes basically deal with his training. Episode 5, episode 6, he's learning certain techniques. Episode 7, episode 8, finally, is where Goku basically fights a duplicate of himself. And in this little duplicate, he finds that this duplicate is basically fighting. Popo says, I didn't make him stronger, but Popo just made the doll or the fake Goku basically just like the real Goku, just with the things that Popo is trying to get Goku to realize. So he's not more stronger. It's just that he knows the things that Popo is trying to teach Goku. So Goku is basically fighting a version of himself that he can achieve by learning these things. Become faster than lightning, become quiet as the sky. The time room where he goes back in time to a younger Master Roshi and stuff. You see what I'm saying? The Goku doll, each on their own right here. Popo tries to teach Goku about concentration and sensing energy in a game of hide and seek. So Goku right here learns how to sense ki in a sense. Does that make sense? Because before he really couldn't, you know. So all of these things are extremely monumental in what Goku is going forward all the way through Super to the present time in the Dragon Ball universe. These things are also prevalent because they are used in the tournament. Goku is able to sense Piccolo's ki. And if you watch it, you realize that because they're like, hey, Goku, what's going on? What's wrong, buddy? They're not able to sense ki at this point. They're not able to sense that energy. Goku is able to do it because what he learns on the lookout. So this is why I believe that the lookout is going to be the central location. This is where the part, because you look at the DLC in parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, whatever. I think this is part 1 of the DLC 5, the lookout. We're going to have training with Popo that's going to be similar to Whis' training. I think it's going to be structured kind of like that, you know, where we'll level Goku up, because we're not going to, if we just start at the tournament, guys, how are we going to level him up for the fights? Doesn't make sense, right? We have to have something to level him up to get him to that level. The training that precedes that is going to do that. They're also included in missions. Like Goku goes to different locations. He goes to the mountain in Faster Than Lightning. Quiet in Sky, he goes to a different location. And then the time room, after losing to Mr. Popo, once again, Goku is sent back in time where he meets a younger Master Roshi and Master Shin, who are competing for the affections of the same woman. You see what I'm saying? All of this stuff is taking place on the lookout. Meanwhile, in episode 8, you have Tien, Krillin, Yamcha, and Chasu continuing their training on Earth as they head for Korin's Tower. See, they're going to Korin's Tower. They're not going to the lookout. You see? Episode 10, Krillin, Chasu, Yamcha, and Tien try to keep Mint's village safe from an erupting volcano as Goku continues his training with Popo. You see what I'm saying? So this DLC is prime to not only give us, I ain't even talked about the tournament and what it can bring to the game. I'm just talking about simple story. Guys, this DLC is going to be awesome. Now, the thing about this is, are they going to give us the training? They should. Give us training. Let us be able to train, go through these things with Mr. Popo, very similar to how we train with Whis on Beerus' planet. Goku is going to, I believe, this is my speculation, he's going to have trials from Mr. Popo to complete in order to level up, in order to get stronger, in order to learn new skills, learn new techniques, and become more powerful. This is going to help us to level up his skill tree. All right. Also, eating. This one is going to be interesting. Goku does eat on the lookout, but you have to understand this. And throughout this entire DLC, Goku isn't even married to Chi-Chi in this arc until the end. They get married at the end, but they aren't even married yet. They don't even meet again until the actual tournament kicks off. So who's going to make Goku those meals? It's going to be probably a lot similar to DLC 4, where we basically just have a vendor who makes us meals. You know, probably something on Kami's lookout, because this is where Goku is at the majority of the time until the tournament actually starts. You see what I'm saying? I think, and that's why I believe that the lookout is going to be the central location for this DLC. All right. Now, getting into the actual tournament. So, well, before that, like I said, so what's coming to this? What could come to this DLC? First and foremost is on the ground combat, because Goku isn't able to fly. All right. The flying Nimbus is already in the game. Goku uses it a lot. The game itself, we don't use flying Nimbus until the game allows us to fly whenever we get to the fight with Raditz. After that, not many people even use flying Nimbus. So this is going to make Nimbus relevant. It's already in the game. Okay. And guys, I got some news that you're going to want to hear, or some information, or a great speculation about this DLC coming quicker than we think at the end of the video. So, and I have some in-game stuff to back that up. But anyway, Nimbus is going to be prevalent. So we're going to use Nimbus a lot. The power pole would have to be prevalent because we have to use it to get to the lookout. All right. So that could also be coming to the game. Different styles of training. Do I think that they revamp training mode? No, I don't. Like I said, I think we do training on the lookout very similar to how we did training with Whis. where, Whis leads us in training, just like Popo leads Goku in training. All right. Fast forward. Now we get into the tournament and nobody flies in the tournament. The only one who's able to fly is Piccolo. Goku even tells him, come down here and fight. Goku can jump super high in the air, but Goku, if he can fly at this point, it takes so much ki for him to be able to fly that he just doesn't do it. That's why he uses Nimbus a lot. Even at the end, he uses Nimbus. He doesn't fly away. So no flying. Implementation of ground combat. All right. It's a tournament. Everybody wants to play the tournament. I believe that this is a grand opportunity because they're shutting down the online servers for Cards Warriors. Okay. And they're going to need something. This is a perfect opportunity for them to open up a world tournament where we can go and fight each other. Before I was very much against it. I'm not against multiplayer in the game. I'm against multiplayer as far as the main story. I like to keep it single player. You can have some multiplayer side elements. Like Cards Warriors was an online multiplayer thing. They could do a world tournament multiplayer online type of deal. Now, will that be successful? I don't think so because they couldn't even get the servers for Card Warriors right. You see what I'm saying? It's going to come with its issues. It's a lot of stuff to take in, a lot of stuff to deal with there. However, by them implementing the world tournament, I feel like the opportunity is there. I feel like it could be a possibility. Even without that being said, I believe that this is an opportunity for some true end game to come to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, because now they can implement a world tournament mode, not just in the main in the DLC, but they can also take it and put it into the main game because the location is there. Now, it is a different location. The World Tournament Arena that we see in the main game is the one that was rebuilt. That is the new World Tournament Arena. It looks completely different from the one that they had in the World Tournament 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. Why? Because Goku and Piccolo in their fight I'm talking about destroy the World Tournament Arena, and it's rebuilt. And when it's rebuilt, that's when it looks like the one that we see in the Majin Buu saga. All right. Now, with that being said, we're into the tournament. So we're getting some training with Popo on the lookout that I feel, and this is stuff that I feel like should be coming to the game. Training with Popo on the lookout. We got on the ground combat. We got possibly a new game mode in the world tournament mode coming to the game, and this is all speculation, as well as Krillin, Tien, Chaozu, and Yamcha being playable characters in the DLC. So giving them more extensive skill trees because they also had some prominent fights in this. You get what I'm saying? So Chi-Chi, also a possible playable character, more or less. I don't think we necessarily play as Chi-Chi on this one. I think she becomes not a playable character, but what do they call them? Support character. I think Chi-Chi becomes a support character in this DLC because we fight her in the tournament. So we're not going to fight as her against Goku. However, after the tournament, her and Goku do some things that I feel like Chi-Chi can become a support character at this point. Okay. Main villain, Piccolo. That's the main boss battle. All right. Fight against Piccolo. Okay. A very important fight with General Tao. All right. Him and Tien. You know what I'm saying? Hero against Piccolo. Do we play with Hero and fight against Piccolo? I don't think we see that. I don't know. It could happen. Goku against Tien, major fight. All right. Kami versus Piccolo, like we said earlier. Okay. And then the infamous fight with Goku and Piccolo. Now, people are going to want new things to come to this game in a sense. Everybody wants transformations and things like that. I don't see that happening. I don't see any transformations coming to the game, but I do see a lot of new attacks coming to the game. Goku's Meteor combination. Now, in DLC 4, you've seen Bardock with we see this new type of melee attack. Because prior to this in the game, the majority of the melee attacks are all like 1 to 2 hits, 3 hits at the most, aside from your generic combos. But with the Bardock DLC, now we see them actually implementing melee combos as super attacks. Vegeta has one, and then Bardock has one. I think it's called Spirit Rush. I'm going to say this, expect Goku to get the meteor combination in the game. Now, will it be the meteor combination that ends with the Kamehameha? It's possible. It's possible. You know, I think even Trunks in DLC 4 had a combo. He had a combo that kind of ended with a Ki Blast. Bardock does. So it could be possible. It could be possible. I think if they do the meteor combo, that they should let it end with the Kamehameha as well. That would be super cool. And then you know how your enemy is stunned? That's when you get that cinematic cutscene for your super attack. Man, that's going to be spectacular. Also, ultimate super Kamehameha. You know what I'm saying? Goku, you know, all of that. All of that. You see what I'm saying? So that's going to be really, really significant. Then as far as stuff that goes on after, you know, like after we beat the game with Bardock, we had the Vegeta stuff. You know, we had the Dabura stuff with Trunks. I believe that that's when we get into this stuff. And I think, you know, it's more sub-quest based type deals. Does that make sense? Goku and Chi-Chi getting married and stuff like that. They go on this journey to save the Ox King. I think those are all sub-quests after we beat the main storyline. Okay? Guys, this is set up to be a spectacular DLC if they can do it the way that I've talked about in this video. To reiterate, give us training on the lookout with Popo. Give us the stuff that happened before the tournament, guys, because this was all in preparation for the tournament. A 3-year span where all they did was train to get ready for the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. You got to give us that. It also gives us the opportunity to play as Kid Goku. All right. And give us a little backdrop on Dragon Ball. All right. Like I said, the training with Popo and my speculation will be very similar to, if not the same, as how it is with Beerus in Whis Planet. How we train against, how Whis put us through training, Popo puts us through training as well. That simulates this right here. Okay. Also at Kami's house, you know, Tien, Chaozu, Krillin, and the others train, as well as have a mission to go find the Dragon Balls. Now the Dragon Balls are introduced to the DLC. Now we know where we already knew where they came from, but you get what I'm saying. All right. And then the infamous tournament where we get to fight as Goku in his fights. Now, another interesting thing is, are they going to put the preliminary fights in there? I feel like they should, because there are some people that Goku fights in the tournament that he fought previously. Okay. That would be very interesting. On the ground combat. Let us be able to fight on the ground, because nobody could fly except for Piccolo at this point. All right. As well as implementing a tournament mode. Now that will make for an amazing and probably the best DLC to date. Especially if they implement tournament mode for the main game, and or make a online tournament mode for the game where people can fight whoever they want to fight in the tournament. All right. If they implement a tournament, I'm going to do a separate video on if they do a tournament mode, because that's going to take way too long for this video. But guys, you're going to want to watch that. So subscribe to the channel if you hadn't. Turn on the bell icon so you don't miss a single upload, okay? Because I'm going to talk about the tournament mode in an upcoming video, because that one deserves a video in and of itself. Now, with that being said, this would make for an amazing DLC. I don't think anybody would argue against this, okay? The issue is, and look at this, guys. There's a total of 31 episodes. That's 31 main missions, okay, that they could easily do, because the rest of the DLCs and the rest of the main game story arcs have right at 30, 20-something main missions. That's easily done. The way that Bandai can mess this up, the way that they can mess this up, guys, is by starting it at the freaking tournament itself. That's the first big mess up, because you're missing so much great things before that. A new location, things like that. But I think the biggest way that they can mess this up, I'm not even going to say by not implementing a tournament mode into the game, because I can get why they wouldn't. But none of that matters if we get into this DLC in the tournament arena and we can't even fight on the ground. They're making us still fight in the air. I can see that happening. Prepare yourselves for that. Your cutscenes and everything may be on the game, but when you get into the tournament arena, I don't expect us to be able to fly high up in the air or anything like that, but I don't think that their feet will be on the ground. That's going to be very upsetting. like, part of me feels like, no, it's going to be they're not going to do that, surely. But guys, prepare yourself for that possibility to where we're still not fighting on the ground. And there's going to be a lot of people upset about that because they just didn't fly. You know what I'm saying? They didn't fight in the air, but the game is built on that. Now, our great apes, they fight on the ground. When you fight Great Ape Gohan and Great Ape Vegeta, they're on the ground. So it's possible to do it. It just all deals with the game's code. When we play as Gohan, there's certain missions that we do in the open world where we just literally cannot fly. We can jump high as heck, but we can't fly. If they make it to where we fight on the ground, guys, this is going to change the game and the way that we play it. Because dodging is going to be essential because you're not going to be able to fly and escape people's combats or combos and super attacks anymore. Like Beerus and a lot of enemies, when they go into surge mode, you can just fly around and avoid it. Avoid their super attacks. So it is going to literally change how we play the game. But like I said, prepare yourself for that possibility that they could literally make it to where we're still fighting in the air. That is going to be one of the biggest. That to me is going to be the biggest letdown in the entire game. And that's including talking about the lack of an end game. The Super Saiyan aura that still isn't changed. Lack of being able to change your clothing in the game. You see what I'm saying? Lack of true training in the game. If you implement this DLC and you do not make it to where we can actually fight on the ground because nobody flew in this freaking tournament, that is going to be the biggest letdown. And it is going to make this DLC less impactful, in my opinion. Not saying it still won't be good, but you know what I'm saying? Having a tournament mode in the game, or none of that matters if you're not able to fight on the ground. That's the whole essence of the tournament. Even in Dragon Ball Z, even going into Dragon Ball Super, especially if we're trying to get to the Tournament of Power one day. You see what I'm saying? That's the biggest way that they can mess this up. And the reason why I say it's possible, guys, is because, like I said, they still haven't fixed the Super Saiyan aura. All right. In Bardock's DLC, we didn't get to play as Great Apes. Missed opportunity there. Which tells me that they still haven't implemented for the player to be able to play and fight on the ground. It's very interesting. They would have to really just essentially use the same coding as they do for the Great Apes. But, you know, that's another video for another day. So they have an opportunity to mess this up. Also with the scouters. In the Bardock DLC, Bardock wasn't able to sense ki, yet we can use the ki sense ability in the DLC. They could have simply used the Xenoverse Scouter. They could have put a green 10 on or something. You know what I'm saying? That was a missed opportunity in my opinion as well. But like I said, I believe that the Bardock DLC was the way that it was because they were limited in time, money, and resources because they had to get the next gen upgrade ready as well, which takes time and effort. So now the moment you've all been waiting for, when can we expect this DLC? It is my strong belief that we will get this DLC before summer. This DLC may come out quicker than any other DLC that we've had. If you go to the Steam database, they're already working on 1.92. Now, do I think that this is the DLC? No, I don't. What I think that this could be, it could be simple bug fixes, which, I don't think we've ever had a 0.2. It's always been 0 or 0.5 as far as the DLCs go. All right. And then the 0.1s have always been like upgrades or like bug fixes and things of that nature. All right. 9.1 was what got us ready for the DLC with 0.90. It's crazy that it's 0.1, but y'all get what I'm saying. All right. So they're working on 9.2. I don't know what this is, but it is something for the game. It could, like I said, it could be simple bug fixes. It could be what they need to make the DLC and allow us to fight on the ground. That's wishful thinking. Okay. But the reason I say this DLC could come out quicker than any other DLC is because all the elements are in the game. You don't need to make any kind of new arenas. The only thing you would have to make new would be the World Tournament Arena to make it look like it did before it was destroyed, because the one that's in the game right now, you don't have the preliminary rings in there because it's all new. It's all new arena, completely rebuilt because Goku and Piccolo destroyed it. So by having everything already in the game, you have Goku's model in the game. They already shown that they have Kid Goku and cutscenes made. You have Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, Chaozu already in the game. Master Roshi already in the game. Piccolo, Kami, like all the assets are already there. The locations are already there as well. It's just a matter of creating the new cutscenes and putting together the missions. And by the fact that they've already started on this new development, and like I said, I don't think that this is DLC 5. This is something that's probably paving the way for DLC 5. I believe that we will get this DLC by the end of spring. I think we get this by the end of spring, and then the final DLC drops in the fall. I don't see them doing a DLC during the winter time or anything like that. You know, I think we probably get ready for the season 3 coming up next year in January. So, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I know this is a long video, but there is a ton of things to talk about, and I wanted to get it all out there up front, guys, that this DLC has the potential to be game changing to the entire game, the base game as well as the DLC itself, and could be one of the most exciting DLCs if done right, even though we don't have anything coming like transformations because they just didn't do that in the tournament. So like I said, let me know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. Till next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Have the best day you can.